Yo, what's up guys, and welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm going to be showcasing the replays that got me to top 200 in the world. I did push, I think it was yesterday or maybe even the day before that. But yeah, so it was a few days ago, so I'm currently top 280 in the world, but I'll show you guys the replays anyway, because I had some pretty nice matches. I did decide to switch up my deck to classic LOGBAIT, but with Cannon instead of Inferno Tower, rather than playing the Cycle variant with Evo Tesla and Evo Skellies. Although I still quite like that version, but I feel like the Goblin Gang sort of provides a bit more outplay potential, honestly, compared to the Evo Skellies, and I quite like the Cannon in this meta as well, since it's so cheap and does so much DPS. So anyway, he goes for a peck at the back first play. I don't really have a lot of plays to make here, so I decided to go for a gang at the bridge, which is really good because it forces out his Night Witch, which makes for a pretty easy defense here. Just set up with a princess in the corner, and then I can cannon on the peck and DPS it down. So we're currently even on elixir, but I do have a princess on the field, so I'm up quite a bit here, honestly. And he goes for a goblin giant in the back, just gonna knight into it, cycling to my Evo and setting up for defense as well. Generally, this matchup is pretty difficult. It's Evo P.E.K.K.A, Evo Goblin Giant with triple spells, so definitely not the best for LOGBAIT, but really nice Goblin Gang here, blocking for the Fisherman twice and DPSing down the Goblin Giant. It does end up getting quite a bit of damage due to this Raged Spear Goblins, but I didn't have to spend quite a lot of elixir on it, and I managed to save my cannon, which is really important. Like, if I had played the cannon, I would have been pretty much dead here when he goes for the Evo P.E.K.K.A guards in the back, so yeah, he goes 10 elixir at the bridge straight away, which is really aggressive, but good thing I had the cannon. Look how much health the Evo P.E.K.K.A already lost there, and it actually didn't heal from the cannon because the guards killed it too before that happened, so that's really nice for me. And unfortunately, the Evo P.E.K.K.A got one last swing on the night, but I still go for a Goblin Barrel here while the Spirit Goblin is tanking, so I get a ton of damage here with that Goblin Barrel, taking his tower down to 2,000. And he goes for a Night Witch behind this Goblin Giant, which is really aggressive. Once again, like, he can't void my cannon or anything. He just goes for a Rage. Really nice log to clean up all the goblins and just gang on this Night Witch. And once again, so I have a counter push here with the gang, which forces him to go for the Evo P.E.K.K.A. But as long as he goes for, you know, those reactive P.E.K.K.A s, he can't really build up a big push. So if I can just avoid him building up a big push with like Evo Goblin Giant, P.E.K.K.A, and Evo P.E.K.K.A at the bridge, you know, those three or something like that, I should be pretty much good to go, because then I can just, you know, defend his smaller pushes, and then I can counter push, and then he goes in again, and I can defend again, and then counter push and stuff like that. So I go for a really nice Evo barrel here. He decides to arrow the weak side, but look at the right side. Those fake goblins are going in on his tower. They take it all the way down to 677, which is actually rocket double log range. So I just need to defend this, and I should pretty much win the game. So I go for a high Evo Knight, which pulls the Evo P.E.K.K.A, but then I go for a gang as well to distract the Evo P.E.K.K.A so that the Knight can DPS down everything else in the meantime. So the Evo P.E.K.K.A did get a last swing on the cannon, which actually didn't even matter because the Night Witch died to the double princesses, which is another really important thing in this matchup. Your princesses provide really good DPS and splash damage on the big pushes, especially for the Evo P.E.K.K.A. So that's really important to get those princesses down on defense in this matchup. He still has to kill that princess, which forces him to go for guards right into my princess, which is just a waste of 3 elixir. So that's 3 elixir that he can't push with. He just goes for a rage on the gang, and that push is dead once again. He's got his Evo Goblin Giant now, but he doesn't have his Evo P.E.K.K.A. He has 2 arrows on the left. I go in for a Night Gang on the right side, Knight the left side to tank, and then I go for an Evo Barrel, and he only has Rage in hand. He doesn't have enough elixir, and he will not be... He even rages the wrong side. But yeah, that's going to be GG for the first game, and I'll see you guys in the next match. The second match here will be against Drill. So he's playing the Magic Archer NATO deck, but slightly different. I think this guy actually copied... Riley posted a video of the 5, you know, best meta decks, which was just 5 best off meta decks, sorry, which was just pretty much 5 different meta decks, but with like 2 cards switched out. And this was one of them, I'm pretty sure. So he's got the Evo P.E.K.K.A instead of a Knight or a Valkyrie, and then he has the Ice Spirit instead of Skeletons. So So yeah, kind of an interesting deck here. Unfortunately, the Goblin from the drill locks on, and the Goblin Gang will die to that bomb tower, and he goes in for a Magic Archer here, really aggressive, but I don't really have anything. I tried to play the Ice Bird, but the NATO catches it, so he gets a ton of damage right at the start. So really bad start here. I'm down 1000 HP. I tried to go in aggressive here, which works out pretty well because the Princess did snipe those Spear Goblins. And he did log the Princess, so the barrel got some good damage, and now that Knight is going to get a lot of damage as well. He doesn't have anything for this Goblin Gang. He pretty much just has to ignore it. And for some reason, he decides to go in for a drill here, so I just play the Ice Spirit on it, and then I play a late log, and I think I just Princess the bridge right away here, because he doesn't have any elixir, a good response for it, but... looks like I remember it incorrectly, but yeah, so I'm up 1400 damage here now, so in a much better spot than I was in the start, because yeah, he just went in way too aggressively with that Magic Archer NATO, was able to punish him pretty nicely for it. He goes in for a packet in the back here, just Princess the back, set up for defense. Definitely want to play the Princess opposite lane, because he has the Magic Archer. Don't want to give him too much value. And here I set with an early cannon. Now, I know that he can snipe it with a Magic Archer, but since the Princess is down, I knew that it would target the Princess first, so I'm able to get that Evo Knight down first, tanking for the Magic Archer, and then just Gang and Ice Spirit on the Spear Goblins behind the P.E.K.K.A. And the cannon is just hammering away on the P.E.K.K.A, and not really much he can do in that push. Really nice defense there, and he goes in for an Evo Drill. For some reason, he played it in the back, so I was kind of confused there. I really expected him to go for it in the front so that I would just log it, so kind of a bad defense on my part. I didn't expect that sequence, so yeah, but I get a really nice Evo barrel here. He's got log NATO, but the rat side is still kind of pressuring him. Look at those Spear Goblins and the Knight tanking as well, so I can go in for another Knight here, blocking the NATO and the Ice Bird, and the Princess actually locks on the tower. Then I gang on the right side as well, forcing out the log, I think. Yep, and the Princess is just hammering away at the left side, getting a ton of damage. He goes for a pretty bad NATO there. I still get one hot hit, yes. And then I go for another Princess. He's got the Ice Bird and Bomb Tower on it. He has 0 elixir here, and I can just rocket his tower to finish off the game. So really nice pressure with the Evo Girl and the gang. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next match. Alright guys, this third match is going to be against a sort of a classic deck. It's Mortar Bait, but it's the OG one with, you know, Musketeer and Knight and Barbed Barrel and Skeleton Barrel, and both Gang and Spear Goblins. So this was really popular with both the Musk and the Log and the Firecracker and the Log/Barbed Barrel. Quite a while back, I think it was a few years ago, but everybody used it and it was super broken. But looks like this guy is still using it. Kind of an awkward start. Had to block the Mortar with the Knight, and he goes in for a Knight in front of his Mortar. I do have the cannon to finish it off, but I do have to log on the Mortar here and take some damage from both the Mortar and the Skeleton Barrel, because he played the Gang in front of the cannon, so I didn't have any choice but to log there. The good thing is here, I'm up pretty much an entire Princess, so I go in for a Knight in front of the Princess, I think. Yep, predicting the Musketeer. And I just need to play one more barrel before I can cycle to my Evo, and my Evo barrel will definitely cook in this matchup. That's one thing that's for sure. He only has one small spell, which is the Barbed Barrel, but then he does have the Goblin Gang to defend the Goblin Barrel, so... But yeah, the Evo Barrel and the Princess will definitely be really good in this matchup, and the Cannon as well for the Skelly Barrel and the Mortar, so... Just gonna go in for a barrel here and then spears on that, and then Princess on those spears. So I'm up a bit less now. He's up 2 elixir, but I do have the Princess down, and he'll just Mortar on this Princess. Not really much I can do about that. And he's got his Evo Mortar up next, so definitely need to be careful of that. I go in for a log here, and then my cannon was too late, unfortunately, because the Gang killed my stuff so fast that the Mortar actually locked onto the tower for one shot. But still not the end of the world. I am down 1100 HP on the left and 900 damage on the right. But I go in really aggressive here with Knight Gang at the bridge, and I do have my Evo Knight, so does he, but that's not as important. And then I go in for a little bit of a trick barrel. He about barrels to the wrong side. And my real barrel on the left just goes in on the tower. He's down to 1900 HP on the tower, and I'm looking really good so far. I'm hovering the rocket over the Musketeer in case he decides to Mortar with it, but he didn't. So I just play a cannon on the Musketeer, knowing that it'll still be on the field for the Skelly Barrel. Unfortunately, that Mortar hit kills it, so that I will take some damage here from the Skelly Barrel, unfortunately, but it's not the end of the world. Just gonna rocket the Evo Mortar because I don't want to take any chances with that thing. It's way too risky when it spawns the goblins and that stuff. So just Knight here so that the princess can splash everything. And all of a sudden, I'm actually up almost 700 damage, so looking pretty good so far. I go in for a Goblin Barrel in the front, knowing that he doesn't have the Barb Barrel, but he played a really early Goblin gang, so the Spear Goblins killed the middle Goblin, so good for him that he managed to get that down. I decided to save my log here because he does have quite a bit of bait cards. He's got 3 bait cards in his deck, so I just played the gang instead to counter his gang, and then the Evo Knight here for his Mortar, and then just go for a cannon as well. Kind of a bad cannon there since it died to the Mortar Splash, because I played it too early so that his Evo Knight locked onto my cannon, but should still be a pretty decent Mortar defense here. Just the princess is splashing on most of the things. I go for another princess, and I keep blocking the Mortar with my Knight, and then I can just cannon here to block the last shot. He goes in for a fireball on my princess, which sure gets some tower damage, but it also takes away his aggressive momentum, so not really sure if that's the best play. He doesn't have Barbell and Cycle, so since the cannon was tanking for the first Mortar shot, I could just go in for a gang on the Mortar and take it out completely. So yeah, in this matchup, princess gets really good value. I'm still up quite a bit, so I just need to play strong defense and utilize the princess for defense really well and make sure to save my log for whenever I need it the most. Just sniped that musketeer with a cannon. Unfortunately, it didn't die completely, but yeah, play the Ice Bird on the Skelly Barrel and then get a really nice log here. I've got the Evo Knight and Cycle for the right side now, and once again, I can just Ice Bird on that Skelly Barrel, and I play the gang as well to make sure that I finish off the Skelly Barrel balloon so that I won't take the fall damage from it. And yeah, so I just need to keep distracting his Mortars whenever he plays it. That's sort of my best defense. I can never cannon on it because he's always distracting. He's always got stuff blocking. And I don't want to rocket his regular Mortars, only his Evo Mortars. But as long as I'm up damage in this situation, I will be fine. So here I actually managed to get a cannon on it, although I said that I wouldn't. And a really nice barrel on the left side. He missed his gang on it. But yeah, the reason I got the cannon on it was because he played the Mortar and he didn't have a lot of elixir, and I went for an Evo Barrel right at the same time, so he couldn't play anything in front. And here I just need to play my Evo Knight to block for the Mortar, and I can go in for a rocket even though I really don't need it. And that's going to be GG for the third match here against a pretty old deck. So yeah, GG's, and I'll see you guys in the next game. Alright, the next match here is going to be against Mortar as well, but sort of Mortar 5.0, where it's the adjusted Mortar version adjusted to the meta, where it's completely boosted. Although I will say not as many people are using it in this meta, but it's still very popular. Kind of a tricky matchup for LOGBAIT still, but I feel like I've kind of cracked the code to beat it, because I feel like I beat it quite often. But yeah, so just cannon on his Mortar and then block those Skelly Drags with a Knight, and I can even go in for a barrel here if I want to, cycling to my Evo. But I decide not to. I go in for an early gang here because I had a feeling that he would miner, and then I just play a perfect Ice Bird on the bat. So off to a pretty decent start here. He's one Mortar away from his Evo, so always want to keep track of his Mortar Evo cycle and also his Evo bat cycle. I think actually the Evo Bat cycle is even more important, because the Evo Bats is what really will lose you this matchup, in my opinion, if you do lose it. Because the Evo Bats can be really tricky. So I go in for a gang here, which probably not the best gang, honestly, but he played the Skelly King, and I get a really good Ice Bird here. He played the gang on the Princess since the Bats died, and I get some really nice Goblin Barrel damage. I mean, look at that damage. The tower is on 2k HP, and I have barely taken any damage. I will say I'm down 2 elixir here, but I do have the Evo Knight and Cycle in case he goes for a Mortar, so I can just block it and play a late gang or something. So I'm not really in trouble here, being down 2 elixir, but being up 1800 HP. So honestly, off to a really good start. That Ice Bird was just perfect on those bats. So yeah, just be aware of sort of when you have a Princess the Bridge in these type of matchups, it's important to recognize what he can respond to the Princess with. So I knew he was going to bat, so I decided to predict it with an Ice Bird. But if you know that he has gang or bats, you can't really predict it, because he might just play the Goblin gang. And sometimes it can be good, but it's really risky in general to prediction log his Goblin gang. Here I actually go in for, I tried to protect my Princess with the gang and the Princess, but I didn't really succeed here. But He goes in for a miner on the princess, and I didn't actually manage to save it, but it's okay because the princess did kill the Evo bats, which is the most important thing. So now he doesn't have both his Evos in cycle, just the Evo Mortar. He has arrows here, and my objective here is going to be whenever he plays the Evo Mortar, I'm going to distract it with an Ice Spirit or a Cannon or a Knight or whatever, and then I'm just going to rocket it to get it off the board as quickly as possible. He goes in for the Evo Mortar here, and I was going to rocket it either way, but fortunately he actually plays a Cannon card right into it, which is really lucky for me, and that barrel just gets a ton of damage. So at this point it's pretty much already over. He can't really break through, and we're even on elixir. I'm not even down at this point. I go in for a nice princess on that gang, and a nice crit as well to be sure I don't take too much damage. He does predict my cannon here with the cannon card, but honestly it's not even that big of a deal. I managed to save the princess here with the gang, which is one thing I will say this guy did terribly wrong. He constantly tried to miner on my princess, and it was really easy and predictable, so I was able to save it and force out the arrows. So yeah, kind of a textbook game here against Mortar bait with arrows. And I'll see you guys in the next game. The next match here will be a bit of a mirror matchup. He plays classic LOGBAIT, but with Inferno Tower, but with the guards instead of gang, and he has E-Spirit instead of Ice-Spirit. I will say I think it's pretty even, because I have the cannon, which is cheaper and definitely better in this matchup. Inferno Tower is just useless, but he does have the E-Spirit, which gets really good value against the barrel, and especially the Evo barrel. So he might actually have a bit of an edge, but also Goblin Gang is a bit better, so it's probably pretty even here. He gets a really nice princess off in my gang, but I managed to block his princess with my knight here, which allows it to survive. So if I remember correctly, this game was actually really, really intense, and I got behind by a lot at the beginning, but then I managed to make a really nice comeback. So looking pretty good so far. I have two princesses down. He gets a nice princess E-Spirit down, and he blocks my princess. And now all of a sudden I'm in a bit of an annoying situation here. He has a princess and a knight down. I just go for a knight in the middle to block his princess and counter his knight. But I'm down quite a bit of elixir here, because you'll see I'm down like about half an elixir, and he's got a princess down. I go for an Evo barrel, and he gets a really nice log on the correct side, and his guards were on the weak side. So he managed to defend my barrel really well. And he got a princess down on my princess while and got a shot on it before I could shoot his. So he's up quite a lot of elixir here. I do play my Evo Knight, but he can block the princess with his own Evo Knight, and he'll be in a really nice situation here. So he doesn't, I don't think he was actually able to block it. I just gone for kind of an awkward Goblin Gang here. I think I should have just played the gang behind my Evo Knight, but I just felt like that would have been too aggressive. So I just go in for a cannon here, and yeah, this is where I go wrong. So he goes for an Evo barrel, and I have to log the left side. And looking back at it now, I think I should have logged the right side and then just played an Ice Spirit on the left side. But yeah, I didn't really manage to do that in the game. So I'm kind of down, 800 damage. You're not in the best situation. I accidentally play my princess before the Ice Spirit, so he can just E-Spirit on this princess if he wants to kill it. I cycle to my Evo barrel here, forcing out his log. I go for a gang on the left to try and pressure him. He goes for the guards, and yeah, he just kills my princess like that. I log his barrel, and I'm gonna try to so my way of coming back into this game is basically just the Evo barrel in itself. I go aggressive here on the right side, but he has the princess down to defend everything. Yeah, just splashing everything, and I have a pretty awkward cycle right now, so I need to fix that somehow. I log his barrel, which is good, and then I just play another princess here, I think. So he actually goes for his own princess, so I play the Evo Knight on it, and this is where he goes a bit wrong. So he gets 2 hits on the left, but I have an Evo Knight down, and those guards on the right side were really bad, so I get a really, really good Evo barrel here. His princess did actually kill my fake Evo barrel on the left side, which kind of saved him, but the princess still died. So here I get the gang on the right side of the Evo barrel, and he doesn't have much for this goblin barrel. So I see that he plays the knight in the front, and I recognize I can probably get 2 quick shots down on the tower. Yeah, because the princess was splashing the tower and the knight. So all of a sudden I'm back in the game here. We're even on damage. I'm actually up 200. So I play probably the worst log in the history of Clash Royale there. I played a perfect Goblin Gang countering it, countering their barrel, but then I decided to log as well for some reason. I didn't hit anything with that log, so kind of a miracle that I managed to come back after that log. That was just absolutely terrible. I play an Ice Spirit here, which might have been a little bit of an overspend, but I don't think it was, because it prevented one hit and I could just cannon on the right side. I'm back to my Evo barrel. I go aggressive on his right side, and then Evo Knight is tanking on the left, so I get a bunch of damage on the left. I think I actually got 1,000 damage on the left. And look at that Ice Spirit stunning the Princess and the E-Spirit before they can kill my stuff. And I go in for a log on the left here, and I just let the right side go, yeah, so that he's constantly getting damage on both sides, but he's getting less damage than me. And it's even in both lanes, so I'm looking alright so far. I just play a gang on that barrel, knowing that the cannon is up and tanking and would help kill the one goblin. So Evo Knight in the middle here to tank, and then I go in for an Evo barrel, forcing out his log. I knew he was going to barrel, so I just played the gang preemptively. And Ice Spirit to catch the Princess, and yeah, that's going to be a really nice comeback here in a bit of a mirror matchup. So yeah, GG's to this guy, really nice win, and I'll see you guys in the next match. Alright guys, the last game here will be against another classic deck. He's playing Splashyard with Knight and Baby Dragon. By the way guys, do let me know down in the comments what you think of this sort of longer format video. I'm including, I think, 6 different games or so, so the video is definitely going to be a bit longer than it usually is. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about that and if you enjoy it as well. So he goes for a NATO on my split gang in the middle. Decent play by him. He plays an early poison on the Princess, which, you know, not much to do about that. I have a kind of an awkward starting hand. Well, not starting hand, but a hand here. I just play my Knight in the back, cycling to the Evo. I don't really like to cycle Ice Spirit into the Cannoneer Tower, because it just dies straight away. I also don't really like cycling a Knight into the Cannoneer Tower, but sometimes you have to do it, cycling to the Evo as well, so it's not bad. I play a barrel on the inside, recognizing that he doesn't have Tornado in cycle. Unfortunately, he's got bombers, so the barrel just gets completely destroyed by that. But that, unfortunately, him having bomber kind of changes to a fortunately he has bomber, because he doesn't have a barb barrel, which is definitely going to be helpful for me in this deck. Sorry, in this matchup. I get a good, decent damage. Well, sorry, I forced out a lot of elixir on his right side. He had to play both the Knight and the Ice Bird, because he doesn't have the barb barrel. So he's playing the bomber instead of the barb barrel to include the Evo bombers, and Splashyard doesn't have a lot of Evos, the original, since he doesn't play Cage or anything like that. Yeah, so I'm in a pretty good spot here. I think I might split the gang, yep, because he has to respond to both sides this way, the Princess and the Knight gang. And then I play my Evo barrel here. He NATOs the right side, so actually really good defense from him. I give him the wow, because that was really well played by him. I didn't get a lot of damage, but still decent damage on the left, but unfortunately he did manage to get the King Tower activation. So we're into double elixir, and unfortunately I haven't managed to get a good amount of damage in single, which is what you're really going to look for in a Splashyard matchup versus LOGBAIT. That damage in single elixir can be absolutely crucial. But another thing you're going to look for is not playing same lane as the graveyard player, because that will just completely destroy you. He gets a pretty nice graveyard poison down here. I mean, I do take some damage, but wait, let's go back here. So I actually got a ton of damage on his right side by rocketing and then the Princess hitting the tower. So yeah, not too bad of a trade, since I did get the rocket damage and 2 Princess shots. So that's basically 1,000 damage right there, and he didn't get quite as much. So here he has to Evo Bomber on defense. He's getting some pretty nice graveyard poisons down at the start. My cycle isn't really the best to defend just yet, but I don't need to log to defend, which is nice, and he still has to respond to that Princess. Good NATO from him, but I can get some good stuff going here protecting the Princess. Unfortunately, that Bomber was on the opposite side of my Knight, so I don't manage to protect the Princess, and I finger slipped my Princess here into the wrong lane, which is basically just a free poison for him. Yeah, he goes in for the poison on the Princess. The unfortunate thing about this matchup is that it can be kind of tricky with the Evo Barrel to, you know, push into both lanes, since you really don't want to be going same lane as him, but I kind of succeed with it a little bit here. Pressuring him really good on the right side and getting some decent damage on the left. So since he had the Evo Knight and Bomber on the right side, I decided to pressure him with the Princess to bridge on the left side. And I had a feeling he was going to graveyard, so I wanted the knight to tank for the baby dragon, and I just played the cannon on the right side. I get in a really nice log here, resetting the Evo bomber, which I think actually completely saved me in this game, because I would have died if he had gotten a double bounce from the Evo bomber. Anyway, really good pusher on the both lanes actually. The gang kills what's it called? The gang kills the knight, and I managed to save my right side princess here with the Evo knight, and I get a ton of damage on the left as well. He doesn't have NATO and cycle here. He takes one hit, but he has to spend 6 elixir on the barrel. I princess once again like the LOGBAIT game, and I get at least one shot where the princess splashes the tower. And look at the right side here. I have a barrel and I have a princess. I can just defend the graveyard with a gang. He can't poison immediately. I still have a princess going down, and I get a honestly not the best log there. But I managed to defend the graveyard, and I have to gang here and play the knight to tank for the bomber. Really bad NATO there. I think that's where he messed up. He played both the NATO and the Evo bomber. He might have won if he didn't, but yeah, so he puts his own tower into rocket range. I decided to not take any chances. The rocket would have been too slow compared to the baby dragon. So yeah, I managed to get the rocket down. Really close game, but pretty nice win here, utilizing the Evo barrel and stuff against graveyard. So yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and then I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.